Do you feel that your amazing content is lost? Maybe you spend hours creating that perfect reel. It goes viral, but it doesn't increase your bank account. Maybe you are in this constant hustle mode. Hustle, hustle, hustle. I've got to beat the algorithm. I must post 10 times a day. I've got to be on all the different platforms. Yet you're still creating content on a platform that, if you're lucky, people see for 24 hours instead of creating legacy content. Or worse, you're a podcaster who has the ability to create that amazing legacy content, yet it's your afterthought. I want to talk to you today about a way that you can lean into podcasting so that you can stop the hustle of social media and you can start podcasting in a way that brings you big profits without losing your ever-loving mind. And no, we're not talking about spending more time. We're talking about intentional time. We're talking about how you can truly use podcasting, social media, and all the goodness of networking to build that giant business in 2023. Let's go! Welcome to the podcast about podcasting, where you guessed it, we're talking all things podcasting, but not just in the sense of strategy of how to launch, grow, and monetize your show. Of course, you're going to get that. But we're going deep into how podcasting can actually help you build your community, build your confidence, and if you're willing to lean deep into this platform, it can be the ticket to the life of your dreams. Because it'll inspire you to go deeper, to get to know yourself. And as we know, success starts from within. If you are ready to stop being a ripple in this world and bust out your tsunami of change you know you were made for, it's podcasting for your soul. I'm your host, Jen Dragonette, so let's dig in. I know, we're coming to the end of the year. 2 more episodes with yours truly, the new name, Cure for PodFade, and this beautiful time to reflect. And I truly am grateful for you. I am so happy to be able to serve you. And this is one of the things that I see almost every podcast coach, mentor talking about is this hustle, this how to reshare your content all over social media. Do I believe that if you have already created a warm audience on social media, you should be capitalizing on that? 100%. I'm not saying just cold turkey leave social media, but one of my favorite mentors and somebody that truly gave me the hope and the inspiration to drop all social media and start dropping platforms like Instagram is Stephanie Gass. She does exactly pretty close to what I do, and she helps Christian business owners, Christian business women build their businesses with podcasting without the hustle and bustle of social media. And I truly took inspiration from her. And over the last, I'm going to say 6 months, I have truly pulled off of Instagram. I have never seen growth from Instagram. But if you have a hustling, bustling Instagram account where people are engaging with you. And I'm not talking about those you're going viral. So yeah, the actual people that are engaging with you, that are buying from you, if you're actually making money from the platform, great, keep doing it. But if you don't want to be hustling to social media in 2023 to grow your podcast, you don't have to. But it's going to take some intentional action, some intentional strategy, and you to take the moment to reflect. Not only that, you also have to remember that unlike social media that gives you that instant dopamine hit, that instant reaction of, hey, this is working, this isn't working, podcasting, SEO, Pinterest, it might take 3 months to actually see your results. Your numbers could start growing. Your bank account could start growing. Those hot leads could start growing. But it is a long game. That's why it's legacy content. But if you start with your podcast, you start with putting out quality podcasts, quality content that truly brings your ideal listener to the next level, that makes them go from cold lead to warmish lead to red hot lead. You use that as the staple of everything. Then you take that and you repurpose that content. There's so many ways you can repurpose that content, whether that is, my favorites are Pinterest. I love Pinterest because, again, it's a long game strategy. If that works for your business, and I haven't found a business that it truly doesn't work for yet, but there is a strategy behind it. And if you love social media and have a following that's willing to be reminded, great. But you have to remember, I'm going to keep reiterating this over and over and over again. Social media engagers, social media people have a different mentality than someone who's hanging out on Pinterest, podcasts, blogs, and even YouTube. We go to YouTube to learn, to be entertained, to be inspired. We come to podcasts to learn, to be inspired, to be entertained. We go to Pinterest to maybe find a blog or a recipe, right? So we are intentionally going to those places to spend more time. That doesn't mean that your ideal listener isn't on some of those platforms that love micro content. I know that most of my people are hustling on one of the two social media platforms because that's who I attract. Those people that are totally burnt out from being a slave to the algorithm, to being that person that has to do so many things all at once. I need to post 5 times, who's perfecting that TikTok dance, who's trying to figure out all that micro content. If you intentionally use your podcast, that micro content becomes easy. But it starts with your podcast. It starts with your message, and it starts with a heart to truly serve. Not only that, you gotta put on your big girl panties because in reality, you are not gonna get that virtual high five, ego pat on the back that you can get from social media. It is a slower growth. It is a slower build. Does that mean that you cannot profit from day one? No. Ask Heather. She made a sale from her 3rd episode, and that person came from her podcast. There are so many things that I want to share with you, but it does start with having a good hard look at, like, what is this hustle doing for you? How has it served your business? And what's working and what is not working? Because if you are chronically burnt out, you are not having fun anymore. You are not spending time with your family. You are on hour 12. Hey, I'm on hour 12 right now because I'm taking a vacation next week. If you are always on hour 12, not because you're trying to take a vacation, but because you just are hustling this much, it's time to look at your business. It's time to look at your marketing strategy. How much of your time are you being paid for? If you are working 10 hours a day and you are only spending 2 hours of it with paying clients, and those paying clients are only paying you $200, that 10-hour day, the hourly rate goes pretty far down. And then once Mr. Taxman takes out that 35 to 40%, ooh, yikes. I want you to start truly, right now, this is a great time to reflect. Truly think about what is serving your business and what isn't serving your business. If you are spending a ton of time on social media, creating content, creating stories and posting and reels, and then going over to TikTok and taking all those images and doing it, if you love doing it and it brings you joy, keep doing it. But if it's not bringing you joy, if your Facebook group isn't bringing you joy or profits, then it's time to reevaluate. It's time to start putting more eggs in the basket of things that last a lifetime. I know I used to be somebody who went live on my Facebook, either profile or in my group all the time. I was one of those almost daily lives, almost daily. But what I realized is I would create that content and then it would disappear. And then, as a lot of my story was, I woke up in beginning of February of 2022 and I was like, I'm going to be a podcaster, and I launched my podcast the same day. But I did that because I knew there was a different way. I knew that I didn't have to be going live and having that content get buried. I knew that my message was something that would still be valid in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years. If you're someone who is doing constant algorithm updates, maybe a podcast is good for you as long as you're mixing in some legacy content on top of the new features that are coming out. But truly, this is legacy content. This is content that you don't have to hustle for. And it makes me sad because I listen to a lot of these shows where podcasters are spending 6 or 7 hours on their podcast episodes. If this is you, it's time to take a look at what those 6 or 7 hours are getting you. For interview shows, yeah, you might be spending that much time pitching and researching your guest and having the interview with your guest. But if you are doing a solo show and you truly know who you serve and how you're serving, 10, 15 minutes for planning, record your episode, maybe 30 minutes if I'm giving you a big buffer for editing. You can write show notes. You can create some simple graphic templates that you can put on like Pinterest. Again, Pinterest, something that lasts more than 24 hours. LinkedIn has actually been surprisingly working. Your show notes can be brought into a blog. If you record by video, you can turn it into a YouTube, and then you can do some keyword research. Okay, 2 hours. 2 hours for one legacy content episode produced to send out. That to me feels so much better than going live every single day. That right there was 2.5 hours of my week. Then I was creating posts. Then I was engaging with people. Then I was going hunting and fishing to try to find people, as my friend Hey Emmy says. Then I was going and doing all the DMs and the engagement. Yeah, I love engagement. Podcasting builds a huge network. I still love my Facebook community, and I'll never get rid of that until they find something that is equal to a Facebook community. Community connection, where you can have those true intimate conversations, where you can truly serve in a way that brings your ideal listener, your ideal client, the person that's coming across your stuff to that next level. That's where you want to be focusing. So I challenge you, as we come to this end of the year, I want you to really reflect on 2022, your business in 2022. How have you marketed it? Is your product aligned with your ideal client? Is your podcast aligned with your ideal client? How about your social media strategy? Is it working? What worked? What didn't? What's a time suck? What's a way that you're hiding? Because let me tell you, if you're spending hours and hours in Canva, you're probably hiding and you're afraid to be seen and heard. So I want you to take this time and take this moment to reflect so that as you move through to this next year, you can move to that next level. You can use legacy content to build a business and get your time back. Does that mean overnight I want you to just focus on your podcast and ditch all your other strategies? No, that would be so stinking silly. I would not do that to you. If you have a warm audience, warm them up and bring them over to your show. But ask them questions. Will you listen to a 5-minute episode, 10-minute episode, daily episodes? What is it that, and how is it that you can serve your client best? And if you have some sort of legacy offer that, you're a health coach, health at every size. You are a gut health person, keto person. You are a business coach that's teaching how to build a personal brand. You are someone who works on money mindset. These are all things that are legacy, self-love, all the things. Legacy content. Think legacy content. Think longer than that quick dopamine hit of social media? How can a long form legacy content serve your business in 2023? How can it let you have some more time back so you can have that freedom? I'm sure you didn't become an entrepreneur because you wanted to work more than in your dead-end corporate job that made you miserable. We wanted that time and financial freedom. And that takes intention. That takes really reflecting on what was working and what didn't work and moving to the next level. So I'm really excited, and I'm really excited for all the things that are to come. If you are struggling with this, I have two amazing things that you can use, and they're both free. One is to have a one-on-one podcast CPR strategy session with me. That's just at podcastcpr.com. And that's where I really look at your business, your marketing strategy, your podcast, and we see how we can make some little tweaks to get your time back. But the thing that I'm most excited about is that on January 9th, we start a 5-day podcast CPR bootcamp. This is for you if you are ready to resuscitate your business, whether your business revenue has flatlined, whether your podcast growth has flatlined, whether you just have flatlined in your inspiration, this is for you. We go through the clarity because we get clear on our people and our passions so that we can create that massive revenue while allowing ourselves to have fun and time freedom. So if you want to join that, it's podcastcprbootcamp.com. And I look forward to seeing you there because 2023 is going to be the year that you are going to ditch the freaking hustle of trying to figure out social media. And you are going to truly step into owning your voice, owning your magic, owning who you are, because you are worthy of the wealth you desire. You are worthy of the time you want. You are worthy of all those things you desire. And you get to choose that is possible.